Tonight, President of the Senate Godswill Akpabio makes case for commitment to peace, justice, and shared destiny.
We must not simply convene, we must command. Let us build and bind our futures, not only in treaties, but in tenacity, and remain paragons of purpose.
Deputy Speaker Kalu withdraws bill on indigenship. Plus, Northern Senators Forum condemn killings in Zamfara State. Welcome to NTA Parliamentary News, reaching you from Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory. I am Amina Seidu. President of the Senate Godswill Akpabio has called on parliamentarians all over the world to stand in partnership and commit to peace, justice, and shared destiny. He stated this in his remarks at the ongoing 6th World Conference of Speakers of Parliaments hosted by the Interparliamentary Union (IPU) in collaboration with the United Nations, Geneva, Switzerland, with the theme, A World in Turmoil, Multilateralism for Peace, Justice and Prosperity for All. Akpabio noted that the world now being a global village and nations face armed conflict, climate disruption and youth disillusionment, parliaments should legislate to secure the future. He made reference to the partnership in Nigeria between the executive and legislature, which facilitates passage of laws to confront insecurity and rebuild trust, citing the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons Act, the Terrorism and Prevention and Prohibition Act, and the Out-of-School Children Education Act as some outcomes of the collaboration. On multilateralism, Akpabio stressed that it must not become a rhetoric, as Nigerian Parliament believes in international solidarity and shared responsibility. He urged parliamentarians to commit to collaboration and the courageous pursuit of solutions that transcend borders and partisan divides.
We must not simply convene, we must command. Let us build and bind our futures, not only in treaties, but in tenacity, and remain paragons of purpose. As parliamentarians, let us commit to collaboration and the courageous pursuit of solutions that transcend borders and partisan divides.
The Northern Senators Forum has expressed deepest condolences to the people of Zamfara State, particularly the families of the victims who lost their lives in the recent kidnapping incident in Kauranamoda local government area and killing of at least 35 innocent civilians despite ransom payments. In a statement, Chairman of the Forum, Senator Abdulaziz Eradua, condemns the heinous act, adding that the Forum stands in solidarity with the people of Zamfara State during this difficult time and pray that Allah grants the departed souls eternal rest. The Forum urged agencies to collaborate with local vigilantes to ensure that those responsible for these atrocities are brought to justice and call for proactive approach in response to security threats and intelligence sharing. It also commended the efforts of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his continued support to security agencies, including funding and the recent mass recruitments. As momentum continues to build towards the actualization of reserved seats for women through legislation, stakeholders are calling for concrete strategic legislative and institutional measures to address the persistent gender imbalance in Nigeria's political system. The report.
Sing the song, for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace.
The bill currently undergoing public discourse seeks to amend existing electoral laws to allocate a specific percentage of legislative seats to women at both federal and state legislatures. If enacted, it will mark a significant shift towards inclusive governance by ensuring that women are adequately represented in the National Assembly and other legislative bodies.
It is time to break the barriers that have hindered women's participation in politics and governance. When we break this barrier, we are breaking the barrier to poverty. We are breaking the barrier to zero hunger. And we are breaking the barrier to underdevelopment.
So I advocate and call on all the women of this country to please go out, speak to the men, speak to everybody you can speak to get their support for these 74 reserve seats.
For us here in Nigeria, the Reserve Seats Bill provides a pathway. In our country, we know that women are already leading in communities, delivering education, advocating for healthcare, sustaining families, and building peace. What they need now are clear pathways into formal political leadership.
Stakeholders of the briefing appealed to lawmakers and political parties to prioritize the passage of House Bill 1349 as a historic and transformative step towards national development. Meanwhile, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has withdrawn the Indigenship Bill before the National Assembly to allow for further legislative consultations. The bill, sponsored by the Deputy Speaker and 6 other members of the House of Representatives, sought to alter the 1999 Constitution as amended to guarantee indigent status to persons by reasons of birth or continued residence for a period of not less than 10 years or by reason of marriage. In a statement, Kalu, who doubles as chairman of the House Committee on Constitutional Review, said the withdrawal of the controversial bill has become necessary despite scaling second reading, in the light of constructive feedback received from various stakeholders. He noted that the bill analysis report forwarded by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILS, also compelled him to step down the bill. Although the intention of the bill was to promote national unity, equity, and inclusiveness among all Nigerians, regardless of where they reside, part of the NILS report recommend that state houses of assembly should make laws for settlers in different states to enjoy the same rights and privileges of indigents. The bill was also criticized over the prospect of conferring double or multiple indigent status on persons. Still on constitutional alteration, the creation of Gobir and Kainji states alongside 30 new local government areas topped the array of demands by various interest groups at the Northwest Center B public hearing on the ongoing 1999 constitutional review process in Nigeria. Alhatu Abdullahi reports that the center comprises Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara states.
Government officials, traditional institutions, labor unions, women groups, civil society organizations, and the various interest groups, among others, converged on the International Conference Center, Kasarawa, Sokoto, to present their submissions at the public hearing.
With these alterations, Nigeria is said to have almost a brand new constitution.
The people presently inhabiting Borgu, Kontagora, and Zoro Emirates express desire to come together to constitute the proposed Kayaji state.
The benefit for the creation of Kobe state is that it will bring about administrative efficiency through decentralization of power, decision-making for effective governance.
Out of the 7 northwestern states, only Zamfara state has less than 15 local governments. I think we therefore need to be considered for the creation of more local government.
The women of Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara, to be specific, are joining voices to say we need the reserved bill seat.
The 30 new local governments agitated for comprises 13 from Sokoto State, 11 from Zamfara State, while the 6 new local governments are requested by the people of Zuru Emirate in Kebbi State. The Sultan of Sokoto represented expresses support on the review of the thematic areas of the 1999 Constitution.
That a constitutional provision is made with a view to creating roles for traditional rulers in matters involving religion, culture, security, justice, and other ancillary matters.
Your robust contributions will ensure that the Constitution we produce is not just a legal document, but a social contract, one that reflects the hopes and the values of all Nigerians.
87 bills have been earmarked for amendment. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Moving on, the Northwest Development Commission has presented its scorecard before the National Assembly Joint Committee 6 months after its establishment. Managing Director of the Commission, Professor Shehu Abdullahi Ma'aji, highlights the Commission's progress. National Assembly correspondent Isa Mohammed has more.
The Northwest Development Commission was established by an Act of Parliament to drive inclusive and sustainable socio-economic development of the zone, with commitment to balanced regional development in the country. Managing Director of the Commission, Professor Shehu Abdullahi Maji, said, despite take-off challenges, the Commission has baselined surveys and prioritizes demands across the catchment states, with focus on security, education, health, agriculture, infrastructure, environment and youth engagement for development to thrive.
A hub for innovation, research, digital transformation, entrepreneurship, skill development, focusing on enhancing youth skills and engagement and expertise in specific areas, driving economic growth and improving quality of life in the Northwest region.
The Joint Committee acknowledged the stride by the Commission within this short period, but noted that Nigerians need to know the state of affairs in the Commission and the way forward.
6 months into its establishment, the National Assembly will not shirk its constitutional responsibility that tends to undermine and stymie our efforts toward pushing the development agenda of this administration, and our resolve to promote the progress and success of this commission is non-negotiable.
This session therefore serves not only as a platform for evaluation, but also a space for collaborative problem solving. As a committee, our goal is to work hand in hand with the Commission to ensure that once funds are released, the implementation process is swift, impactful, and transparent.
From the National Assembly, Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
We now pause for some messages. News returns in a moment.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
You are on to NTA Parliamentary News. The House of Representatives has reaffirmed commitment to fight against corruption through legislations that will institutionalize accountability and transparency in governance. This was at a public hearing to investigate the activities of anti-corruption and transparency units in ministries, departments and agencies of government. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikpen reports.
To decentralize the operations of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, more than 500 anti-corruption and transparency units exist in federal ministries, departments and agencies of government to monitor and report corrupt practices. This investigative hearing reveals how their effectiveness is hampered by factors ranging from independence to funding and organizational support. There is advocacy for enabling laws to make the anti-corruption agencies and units effective.
Change the name of my organization from the Code of Conduct Tribunal to Code of Conduct and Anti-Corruption Court, so that all anti-corruption matters will be brought before me, so that it will be an exemplary court of summary trial, so that I will be able to be given justice to whosoever is brought before me in not more than 2 sittings of my court.
Over time, we realized that some NDAs will fall into substantial compliance while the NDA is not effective.
It is paramount that we investigate and assess whether these units are truly fulfilling their mandate or if they have regrettably become extinct in very practices that they were created to eradicate.
Meanwhile, the Youth in Parliament Forum is spearheading what it calls a Take Action campaign to sensitize and empower young Nigerians to take up leadership roles in politics and public service.
Let's take action. Let's criticize constructively. Let's be at the forefront of what is going on.
And ultimately facilitate the election of young legislators into the states and national assemblies in the upcoming election.
The forum urges youth to get involved in reforms to shape Nigeria's political future. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
In a related development, the Senate Committee on Public Accounts has given the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, 3 weeks to respond to audit queries involving 210 trillion naira from financial reports spanning 2017 to 2023. Chairman of the committee, Senator Ahmed Wadada, clarified that the amount is not missing or stolen, but remains unaccounted for, comprising 103 trillion in liabilities and 107 trillion naira in assets, based on reports from the Auditor General. The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Engineer Bayo Ojulari, who recently assumed office, appealed for more time to address the 19 queries, citing the need to understand the technical details. While he asked for 4 weeks, the committee granted him 3 weeks after accepting his apology for past absences. Senators at the meeting emphasized transparency and the importance of accountability in NNPCL's operations. The committee stressed that it is fulfilling its constitutional duty and will expect written responses within the deadline, followed by a physical appearance of the Group Chief Executive Officer and his team for further clarification. Similarly, the Senate says it is determined to bring to an end the cases of crude oil theft in the Niger Delta region and increase production towards boosting the country's gross domestic product. This was during an investigative hearing with relevant stakeholders by the State Ad Hoc Committee on Oil Theft in the region. National Assembly correspondent Isa Mohammed has more.
The investigative hearing follows the increase in oil theft and pipeline vandalism in the Niger Delta region, which continues to hinder production.
To uncover the root causes of crude oil theft, bunkering and pipeline vandalism. To evaluate the effectiveness of existing surveillance, monitoring and enforcement mechanisms. To identify regulatory and legislative gaps that enable these crimes to thrive. To engage stakeholders, security agencies, host communities, oil companies, regulators, and experts to proffer actionable solutions and to strengthen legal frameworks to ensure stricter penalties and more efficient prosecution of offenders.
The managing directors of Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NITI, and that of the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, MOFI, assured Nigerians of their commitments and support to all initiatives toward ending the ugly trend.
So MOFI was established to be that entity, that legal entity that will be used by federal government to go into commercial transactions, to go into investments, to go into asset holdings, and to go into any business that government wanted to be a part of. Which is why in the very beginning, when you look at entities such as Jakarta Steel, the defunct Nigerian Airways, the defunct Nigerian Shipbuilders, in the registration documents, the shareholder for those entities holding the shares of federal government was MOFI.
The committee continues to engage more relevant stakeholders to share ideas and experiences on how best to end oil theft in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
The Ogun State House of Assembly has adopted resolutions calling for the inclusion of sign language interpreters in government programs. The lawmakers also adopted another resolution urging investigation into activities of the security agency threatening and forcefully taking over communities in Ilesha area of Ijebu North-East local government area of the state. Yemi Dalemo has more.
Speaking under urgent public importance, member representing Ijebu North East State Constituency, Oluseun Adesanya, informed the House of alleged intimidations, tormenting and forceful demolition of over 100 houses and fear created in the lives of people living in Ishoyin, Akunre, Idele, Oriwu, and the surrounding communities over alleged activities of the Nigerian Army Ilese Barracks.
The recent one happened just like 2-3 weeks ago, and they've been given about 2 weeks to vacate the community. Mr. Speaker, Ishoyin, Akunre, Idele, Oriwu, and environ in that particular community are living in serious fear, Mr. Speaker.
This silver soul that Barrister Sheikh is talking about, it's affecting my people in that area too. They called me recently, the way the military are intimidating them is much. That's why I'm supporting Barrister Sheikh on this matter, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Babatunde Taylor from Abeokuta North Constituency and others debated the inclusion of sign language interpreters in the state government programs to promote inclusivity among people living with disabilities in the state.
We not only enhance inclusivity, but also reinforce the government's commitment to upholding the rights of persons with disabilities.
It will show that the government respects all constituents and will allow the people with this disability to be able to engage in public hearings, town halls, and community programs.
Sign language be incorporated, sign language interpreters be incorporated in whatever government is doing as a function in Ogun State.
When they are there, so they know we are carrying them along. I support the motion as well.
Law on the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018 is very clear and unambiguous on the need to encourage persons living with disability, especially in the area of participation.
The minority leader of the House, Lukman Adeleye, motion on review of cases in court to decongest the correctional facilities in the state later turned into resolution of the House after thorough debate.
The expected outcome of this motion will reduce congestion at our correctional center, improve welfare and living conditions for our inmates, and increase access to justice for all citizens.
It is the opinion of this Honorable House that the Chief Judge of the state and the State Minister of Justice to conduct a comprehensive review of cases in all categories of court in the state with the aim of the discongesting all correctional centers in the state.
The House urged stakeholders to fast-track the administrative process of examining cases of inmates who had served a significant portion of their sentences and consider possibilities for pardon or clemency, while streamlining the judicial process to reduce delays and ensure timely dispensation of justice. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalimo, NTA News.
The Bauchi State Government has inaugurated the 7.8 billion naira House of Assembly Complex project. Governor Bala Mohammed said the project aims at providing a conducive environment for effective and efficient legislative duty. Awal Abdullahi has more.
This multi-billion naira project, according to Governor Bala Mohammed, is part of his administration's target to upgrading infrastructure for the three arms of government in the state. The reconstruction project comprised new Assembly Service Commission's building, renovation of the Legislative Chamber and Administrative Block, as well as renovation of committee buildings, among others.
We are more than ever before committed in our determination to bequeath to the state a legacy of infrastructure that will provide the basis for effective delivery of service across the tiers of all governments.
The project will no doubt modernize our facilities, enhance our working environment, and enable us to better fulfill our constitutional responsibilities and service delivery to our constituents.
The governor further said alternative office accommodations were provided to ensure smooth legislative activities during the renovation process, which is expected to be completed in 12 months. In Bauchi, Awal Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that's it on today's bulletin. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. I am Amina Saidu.